Hello everyone, this is Ron at Tech Home Inspections, and in this video I want to show you how to create a new report. And if you haven't done this yet, this might help you along the way. I know there's help files out there that explains how to go about doing so. Um, in this file here, well, actually that's the online version. Um, if you want the help file that you can just kind of pin off to the side, you can leave that here. And this help file has pretty much everything you need regarding this application. And so it's a good reference for reading. I ended up getting a lot of questions, which prompted me to do this video. Um, and in the meantime, we just put this off the side, and you can so see how you create a new report. So we want to go to reports, and there's two different ways to create a report, but I'll show you the most common way is from this menu, create a new report. And just for example, we're going to pick John Adams, and John, you want to enter John's phone number, and you'll have your customer phone number, of course, from the phone conversation or email, however you ended up getting the customer for this inspection. And I'm just entering something for the sake of example here. Once you add that information, you'll get a prompt back telling you where this report file, this is actually a database file for this report that you're going to create, where it's located, and you just click OK there. And it takes you directly to the general info screen. Now, if you've just installed the application, maybe this default information is in here that you want to, of course, change to your information. For example, you want to type in your inspector name, and if that's you, and I'll just do an example here. I'll type my name in, and then and you don't really need a second address line if you don't have one. Once you do this once, you won't need to enter this information again. So this is a one-time setup on the first report you do. It will remember your information. So then you can come back and update it if you need to. Contact name ends up most likely is going to be you, and your phone number, and that ends up being the key to the inspector, which you can update later, and your email address. And like I said, once you enter this once, you won't need to enter it again. What you want to do though is you want to make sure that this is checked. Otherwise, you'll end up selecting, and I'll show an example of that. If you leave this checked and you want to click Add Update Inspector Table, so that you are now on the inspector table. Notice how it left this other one out here. You can delete that and get rid of it since it came with the report, because you really just want your information out there. You don't need to have that. Or if you have a team of inspectors and you're managing the the beginning setup, if you would, if say you like to get the report ready with all the information, you might want to you might end up having a couple different inspectors. So most likely it's just going to be you. And so you did need to change the name, you could change it that way. but we're going to go back to what I originally entered there. Okay. Same thing for the inspection company. This could simply be your name again, or whatever your company is called. And then you might even have a different office location for your company, but it's probably the same. Or you might have a P.O. box that you want to use with your company name. But in this case, I'll just remove that. And the contact for the company, which most likely will be you. Some of this is a little redundant, but it's nice to have the ability to have the flexibility there too. And like I said, once you enter it once, you don't have to enter it again. And here again, you want to make sure that that's checked. You can go back and forth if you're like, what did I type in? Before, so you don't feel like you're stuck on anything here. So I'll just do the same thing I did there, that same phone number. Just for the sake of example. And click Add Update. Here again, if you go in, you have the choice of. What's interesting is if you're a freelance inspector, and you might do work for various companies, and maybe one day you're doing an inspection for Joe Home Inspections, and the next day you're doing one for yourself, and you have this built-in flexibility to switch the company that appears on the report, which is kind of nice. In this case, we're going to leave it as that what I originally typed in. All right. So for the sake of demonstration, I just wanted to show you that if you leave these checked and you've clicked Add Update, to make sure that check stays intact, what I'll do is we'll come out of this report, and now of course you can go back into that report. You'll have the list. The most recent one will be at the top. Of course that will still be there, you would hope. I mean, that's only a given. But if you start a new report, and say this is for Bill James, and for the sake of demonstration, we're starting another report. Notice how I didn't have to retype this information in. And when I get to the customer information, I don't have to type the customer name in because I already entered it, or Bill James, or your customer's phone number. But you probably do want to enter their mailing address at least. So we're going to go here. Just picking any. And contact name, again, you never know. The contact name could be different. It's just something that's adds a little flexibility there. You wouldn't really need the email address, but if you wanted to pull up your customer and say, well, what is that email address? At least you would know. You have the information recorded, which is nice to have. And usually your customer is attending an inspection, so you can save that so far. So right now you have, and if you wanted to look up your customer in the future, for example, if you can exit out of that. If you know, Bill James, let's see, I did an inspection for him some time ago. Rather than retyping his information in, maybe he's an investor or something like that, and his address didn't really change. You can look up. Oh, you know what we didn't do? Let's see. Let me exit here. We never added Bill James to the customer report. And you want to click that. That will add Bill James to the customer report. And by let's see, I know his name started with Bill. Search, and you can narrow it down. It's character based, so if there was another Bill out there, and you say, well, I think his last name started with a J, then you could just say, well, let's put that's the one. Select him, put him on the report. Gives you a little bit of flexibility with the data they entered in case you have a repeat customer over and over again. That's nice to have. Now, while we're at it, we might as well pick the date that the inspection is to occur. Say we're looking at next Tuesday at, so you can just basically pick that from the calendar. And the time, here you can adjust it with the up and down arrow, or you can simply type in, let's say this is going to be at 11:30 a.m. See the down arrow, up, down arrow changes that, 11:30 a.m. And say, well, let's add that to my appointment calendar. It wants me to enter the property information first. So if you don't have to add it to the calendar, it's totally optional. Because in some cases you might want to add the appointment before you actually create the report. Some topic is out there in the help file regarding just that. So basically what it's saying is you give me the property information. So we could say Bill, let's go with a different name here. Connie's Ranch Home. Or Connie Ranch Home. We could call this anything. It's just mainly for description, and maybe it's the name of the person, or it's where it's located. We'll leave it at that, and say this is at 222 West Street, and this is located in E-Town, PA. And Connie, York. Okay, and we'll enter her address or her phone number. Most likely the property owner, who is the seller, will not be attending the inspection. So sometimes they do. So you can pick a 10 option, yes or no. And save. Now, since I totally picked, let me pick something a little bit more realistic. Because I want to show you something else. Totally changed the address here on you. Okay, because I want to show the other feature here. Is I'm going to save that a while. Now if I tried to save this property, you're going to add the property to your table as well. I want you to at least pick the property type, in this case single family. So now that property is already added, in case you ever come back and it might not be, you just have to pick a property name that's maybe realistic, but you can search on property name. Sometimes you can narrow it down, and in case you ever end up working on this property again, maybe doing a search on address would be a little bit better there, but it's probably not something you'll end up using too often. But nice thing here is you can click map and it takes you to Google Maps. It's like, if you're like, okay, I have the address, but I don't know where this is at, you can at least get the map up, and like I said, it takes you to Google Maps, and you can get a street view. This ends up not giving me the right, because I don't think I typed in the right address. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to pick an address I know exists. Sorry about that. All right, let's see that. Click save. Oh, here we go. All right, so then a nice thing about that is you can get directions to there. Gives you a nice little feature there. Sometimes, depending on where you're at, and maybe this is a little bit remote in this case, but you get an idea. Okay, now I know where this is at. You can, of course, switch the view and get an idea of what the property might look like if that happens to be there. I don't know. Sometimes you can get the street view up. Just wanted to show you that. That's not something you might not always use, but at least it gives you the option to pull in the map while you're in the application. I'm just going to show you that you can add a photo. I'm going to just use the sample picture library just to show you that photo. And since you're starting a report, you might not necessarily have a photo of the property yet, but wanted to show you at least how to add a photo. And of course you can pick how the property faces and how old it is. You might not know that until you get to the inspection. But anyways, just wanted to show you, because you can take this application with you either on a tablet or a laptop, whatever you're most comfortable with. It's good to get most of the information entered ahead of time, so you're not wasting your time regarding that, or you can do all this later too. And anything you don't enter won't appear in the report. So if you decide, well, I don't really want all this other information on there, typically you want to know the weather conditions, of course, for during the inspection. Temperatures, usually something that you report. And that should be it for that. So this, at any time, if you want to preview what the report looks like at this point, you just click the Preview Inspection Reports tab, either this way or Preview Report, doesn't matter. Some folks might like to change the view here and not show this toolbar to give you more space. In that case, then you would pick this to preview the report. I kind of like the toolbar up. And here's the front page of the report. Has prepared for the customer name and the address of the property, date of the inspection, prepared by your company, company name, and the inspector name. And this is an auto-generated report ID. I've had requests to make this just a simple numeric ID. You can always export the report into Word and change that if you want to. Or I later might add an option to set up the report ID with a starting number rather than this auto-generated number. But anyways, it helps you keep track of the report this way, and this is the key to this report. So then we'll go to the property general information page. You get the photo of the property and a list of, notice how I left a gap here. That's because we didn't pick those other options. So if we don't like the way that looks, we might come back and say, well, you know what? I'm just going to say not applicable to fill in the gaps on those fully occupied. And that's the general info page. And right now we don't have anything because we didn't report on anything, but this report summary and the scope of inspection, which is a good place. This is totally modifiable. This is a good place to put in the things that you normally enter or would like to enter as like your disclaimer about, okay, what, you don't say that your life's on the line when you're doing these reports, because you can only report on what you see. You cannot report on whether or not it looks like there's going to be a sinkhole next month, or so you might want to put in your disclaimer information in these two areas. I'll show you how to do that. You would go into Setup, Report Settings, and Report Summary Text. And here you can start adding, you can cut and paste from a document that you've had in the past. Example of changes to this text. It's spell checker in there, so if you make a mistake, or if it's actually a word that, here's the one that shows up. Once you ignore that, it will go away. You don't need that. Anyways, save this. There's a few other options here that you might find useful. Like if you wanted to include the location in the report details of your report findings, you can check that box. If you wanted it to appear as blue, you could check that box. I'll show you what that looks like then. What we'll have to do is, we can save this. And oh, by the way, while we're in here, here's where you can change your company logo. You'll want to browse to your directory where you have a logo. If you don't have a logo, if you want to just remove it, you can simply come in here and click remove. And once you click OK, it will remove it. I'm just going to click cancel for now because I don't want to remove that. And your membership logos, whether you're InterNACHI or ASHI or NAHI or whatever your membership is, or if you don't have one, you don't need to put anything in there. You can, again, browse to your directory where you want to. I didn't pick anything, that's why I got that problem. To change this. And these are all one-time setups. Once you do it, you can keep it that way for as long as you need to, as long as you want to. Unless you have changes, you can always come back and change it. So every report you do going forward will have this information in. some people don't necessarily want to have a title called Property Inspection Report. They might want to change the title of it. Or if you're doing different types of reports, you can always come in here and change your report title to like 4-point inspection or commercial property inspection or whatever the name of your report is. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that tab as well. And you can have up to 3 membership logos across the bottom of the report. And of course, if you leave it blank. One thing to point out though is if you do remove it, you want to take it off of here as well. Or if you don't want it to appear on the invoice, you can uncheck it for invoice, hit save. Same thing here. If you don't want your company logo to appear on your invoice, I would imagine you would. You can uncheck it. So we'll click save. All right, exit. So let's preview that. And well, that didn't change. That didn't change. This changed. This is the text you changed. Just wanted to show you that as an example. Well, just to show you what the summary looks like, let's start by at least showing you how to enter your details. These are called categories, of course, ground, structure, exterior, and you can change any of this if you need to add different categories, or you don't like these category names, you want to make them your own name of some sort, you can change that. I'm going to have a second video. I'll show you how to do that. And these are the features. So every time you switch the tab, this gives you a different set of features. So let's just start. And if you don't pick one of these, it won't show up on a report. So if we left sidewalks blank, for example, and we skipped over, so for some reason that place doesn't have sidewalks that we're inspecting, but it does have a driveway, and you might say, I think it needs to be repaired. It's in the front. So status, basically, you pick your status. And these options are also modifiable and set up. All this information is modifiable and set up. So if you had something you needed, say concrete and brick, that keeps occurring, and you get tired of typing it in. There's a place where you can go ahead and change that, but you can type over any of that information as well. You don't have to pick anything. If you don't pick a comment, it won't appear. We'll just say there's settling cracks. And if there's anything, this lookup comments, sorry, you'll click this tab, and if you have comments that you've used over and over again, and you don't want to type it in, you could simply start typing here. I am typing the info here of what you want to say. You can just leave it at that. Or if you notice how that stayed there. So maybe you have something you need to key in and you want to add something to it. So you every time you pick one of these, the comment text changes. So and then if you have something here that you don't like, you just append it. So what I could do is I could say, let me start all over. I didn't really want to put anything in there. Let me add this comment just as it is and save exit. You'll get to the point where you'll be real good at this, because you'll have things the way you are typically wanting to say them, and rather than retyping over and over again. And the reason that it says add append comments is you might have various types of comments, like here. Like you might want to say, let's seal the gaps. So I'm going to append that comment to that comment and save exit. So now you have a combination of phrases and words that you can put together. Save some typing. You don't have to add a photo, but if you want to add photos, you can. And we're just going to pick. Why not? We'll just pick hydrangeas, for example. Not very realistic, but just wanted to show you how that is done by clicking the Add Photo button. One thing I want to mention, you don't necessarily want to add a photo until you've at least picked a status. You should at least do that. Okay, so I just added one photo. Say that for some reason there was 2 driveways on this property. I'll click Save. I want to show you something. Once you click Save, then you have the ability to add a second driveway. So maybe the second driveway is in good condition. It's in the back. It's asphalt, and it's in good condition. So 2 driveways, and since it's in good condition, you don't even really need it to add a photo. So now if you can keep on going. If you have more than this comes in handy, especially when you're reporting on bedrooms or bathrooms. So you just keep adding. You're not limited to, okay, how do I add another driveway? It's just as simple as picking it. And if you come back and say, well, let's see, on the front one, that's right, I had to add another photo. I took another photo. Or I just clicked the next available number. Or maybe you had like 3 photos of it. And we're going to pick. Oh, if you hold the control key down, you can pick multiple photos. Or just one photo for that matter. But so you hold the control key down. I want these 2, for example. And click Open. Now show me the second one I picked. And it showed me the third one I picked. And you can use the scroll bar on your mouse to go through these photos. 1, 2, 3. And it always gives you the last one, the 4th, so that you can add another photo or a series of photos if you need to. Typically, you're not going to get too many photos in one of these, but you never know. If you want to add a comment, maybe I don't want to add a comment to the first one, but these are cool penguins. Just for example, you can add a comment if you want. You can draw a circle or an arrow. So we want to point something out in that photo. You want to, it gives you a little bit of a tooltip there. Wherever you want to start the arrow from, you want to hold your right mouse key down, click down and hold it. And we're going to point right to where we want to let it go. Like right here, it's kind of like the bottom of the arrow. So then you might be saying, right, something specific. Let's see. Arrow. Okay, so and if you want to circle something, like you're pinpointing something that, hey, wait a second, I have something else I want to point out in this photo while I'm at it. You might want to change your color. Now let's circle this. Let's undo that. You want to hold the right mouse down again and draw a diagonal across where you want the circle to go. And you'll like this feature. It's real quick, and you know, you get real good at it once you get the hang of it. It's nice. And save exit. Or if you don't like that, you can undo it. But we'll save that. Sometimes, okay, so now you see that there is no, next time you bring it up, that will be in place. Sometimes you get where you took the picture sideways and you need to, like, wait a second, it needs to be rotated right. Well, it's going to show a little distorted until you save it. And then once it's saved, you know, then it will go into portrait mode. So whoops, I didn't want to do that. So you go back to the way it was. Like I said, it'll appear distorted until you save it, because you might not be done saving it. And then it's back to how it should look. So if you click preview now, you should have 2 entries. And notice how only the repair showed up in the report summary instead of the acceptable. But in the, I'll come back to that in a second. And here's the photos that you picked, and here's how the report will look. Notice the comment is under the photo that we added the comment to, and you could add comments to all the photos. And here's our second driveway. And the reason that the report summary doesn't show the second driveway is because in setup for status and current report, we'll go with that. There's a reason for that, because these statuses stick to the report itself, so that if you ever need to go back to an old report, you know, you're using the statuses that you used, because you don't want to change that data that was on the old report. But anyways, and the same thing with the categories and features. If you change your setup and you pull in an old report, it's going to show the categories and features that were used in that report. It will also show you the new ones that you added, but it won't take any away that were in the report. And what I wanted to show you was this little setup window here has a option, show on report summary. So if you have a major, you know, for whatever status that you report on, if you want it to appear in the report summary, which I think most of these you do, but acceptable you probably don't, because the report summary really only typically shows defects. But if for some reason you wanted it to appear, you could just come down here and change that to a Y, and click update status and exit. And then the next time we preview this, the report summary will show this as well. And notice how it shows the location. If we want it to not show the location, if you think it doesn't look right, I think you'd probably do want to show it, but, or if you don't want that to be blue, you don't want it to stick out, you can see that it changed the color back to black. Or if you don't want it to appear on there at all, this is going to be, you know, your preference, however you want to do it. Say I don't want to include that on there. And you can switch whether you want the report summary to be at the end. I'll show you what that looks like. Click save and exit. Preview. So now you're going to get your detail information before you get your report summary. Some people like the summary at the end. I think most people like it up front. It's really a matter of preference, but you have that option as well. So I'm going to take that acceptable off the report summary and show you how to kind of revisit that and say, let me pick acceptable. Oh, hold on a second. Let's see. Status in current report. Notice how it said status and template. So you can change the template, which is any future reports, how you want the status to appear. But since we're in this, if you just want to change it for this report, you can do that as well, which I did in this case. So I want to say, I don't want that to show up. So let me update that and preview it. And now it doesn't appear. One other tip, if when you're clicking preview and you get an error, it's most likely that you didn't click accept on the Crystal prompt during the install. You can just simply reinstall by going to the download page on the website, and I think it's step 4. You want to make sure that when you get to step 4 that you click accept. You can even do it while the report's open. For example, if I go to, well, this might cause the window to jump, I don't know. Download. In here, step 4, click accept. So when you click on this prompt and open, and so where did it go? Oh, okay, the security scan's running. Now maybe sometimes it's pretty quick, sometimes it's okay. And then click setup, double click setup, and run this one. You want to make sure that you click accept right here and then finish it through. Usually it might run along the first time you do it, and then just simply click repair, and yes, close. Hopefully I didn't lose you on that when I was doing the video here. So let's see where we were at here. Let me go back into open that report. So I think I closed it inadvertently. Okay, so while in preview, I wanted to also show you one other thing, that you can export to a Word doc if you want. If you want to, I mean, most likely you're just going to export it to and then you'll pick a location. Now, that's where it ended up saving, but what you could do is you want to make sure you pick your directory. Otherwise, you might end up forgetting where it went to. C drive, something, or whatever. So anyways, then once you have the, let's see, where did I end up saving that to? Once you, I'll just open it then, save, oh, pictures. I didn't really want it to go there, so that isn't exactly, but anyway, since we know it went to library public pictures, we can go there, and of course that's the finalized report. And let's see, I'm gonna go to sample pictures. Yep. Okay, so here's what your zoom it down a little bit. Report looks like in a PDF. So this is what you would end up emailing to or printing, or saving to a flash drive and giving to your customer. So, anyways, that's it for this video, and I'll show you more on the setup in the next video. In any event, then you just want to show you that before you switch reports, you want to come out and close reports. Then, of course, if you need to go back into that one, recent reports, and continue on. So you don't have to do it all in one sitting. You can just notice how it saved everything like it should, and then you can pick up where you left off. Once you do it a few times, you'll get real fast with it. You won't have to worry about that. Anyways, Ron at Texas Home Inspections, wishing you a happy day. So thank you very much. Okay, bye.